And we're live.
Are we though?
We are.
I don't know. I'm just gonna make poses until we are
We
actually
are actually
I don't
for
believe
real
you and your
life.
lies.
We are for real life live on the internet. Hello, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Morning Ritual, our TTRPG talk show of wild wonder, and I lost the plot somewhere along the line.
You got it. Keep going. Got it. Power
I
through.
got this. We're gonna power through this. I'm one of your hosts, Anita. My pronouns are she/they, and down here below me.
Oh, that's me. Hey, what's up? I was responding to people on our tweet. Hi, I'm Noir. You can find me all over the internet as TheNoirEnigma. That's Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And check out my website, TheNoirEnigma. My merch is there. Please buy some. I'm poor. And
And
today we've got a special returning guest. Oh, I'm sorry, I took that from
no,
you.
you're good.
Here,
Go do it.
I was gonna say no. Forget that I said that. You do it. You do it.
And we've
You
got
give
an
me
Power
amazing
through.
guest with us today. KP, why don't you tell us tell us a little bit about yourself? You're a returning guest. You're a Morning Ritual alumni. But what else about KP?
Well, I mean, I would. If I'm an alumni, can I have a graduation cap? Like, yes, graduated from the School of Morning Rituals.
I'm legit thinking about making
I
belts.
want a diploma, Noir. I want a fucking diploma, please.
I was gonna get you a wrestling belt, like two time.
Wait, no, I don't deserve that just yet because I would probably only deserve that if we have an actual battle between all your former guests and we all come together in a battle royale and then it's just a tournament style thing and then ultimately just have like a big old wrestling match and then finally I can
We're gonna call it the final ritual.
an actual ritual.
Ritual mania.
Oh my God! First murder skirts and now this. We've already started.
Yeah, this is why you need to have friends. You need to be friends with creative people. That's a project right there.
Gray They in chat says, if it's your second time on the show, is this a morning writ 2L?
I'll take that. I'll take that. But hello, everybody. Sorry for the tangents and shenanigans, but maybe more of that. So, at least I'm preparing you early on. But hello, my name is KP. I go by KP11 Studios on all the social medias. And oh boy, I do a lot of things. Not sure if I do them that well, but at least I do them. And those include photography, TTRPG actual plays, voice acting, some little bits of writing, and also cultural consultation, specifically for the South Asian and Indian specific regions. And yeah, that's me. And that list grows longer and longer as ever, because God damn it, if I did it once, I am that thing. I will take that title to the grave. I'm not going to call myself an amateur, an up and coming, or whatever the case, and neither should anybody else. So if you do that one thing at that one more time, you are already that thing. So start owning it. You got it.
And, here's how talented you are. My man is an amazing voice actor. Don't sleep on that. Like, my man is killing it out here in the voice acting game. If you haven't had a chance to listen to the reel, go to his Twitter, check it out. It's so good. And then if you're casting for a project, hire him. So
I need the money, please do.
Seriously, pay all of us. So it's very funny. You were on season 1 of Morning Ritual, where we had even less of an idea of what the fuck we were doing. So it's awesome to have you back, because I mean, one, we could talk about all the growth that you've experienced. I mean,
we've experienced, because come on now, don't exclude you guys out of this. I will destroy you with mutual love, Noir.
So I rewatched our episode in preparation for this to make sure we didn't revisit any topics. The first part of the show was us talking about how the world was on fire, and that's changed, I guess.
Oh yeah, everything's much better now.
It's still kind of on fire. It feels like it's just different fires at this point. Maybe I'm just being.
There's so much weird shit going on.
Cows are lighting up.
Yeah.
that's honestly, out of everything that's going on, I think the cows lining up for no reason for miles.
I'm sorry, what?
Okay. There's a TikTok where this lady is driving by a farm.
Uh-huh.
There are no farmers around at all, and all the cows lined up for miles,
In a
and
single file line along the fence line.
standing still, and nobody knows why. And I'm like, okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean,
That-
everybody get ready for the apocalypse. It's happening. It's coming soon.
Cows are the first harbingers of the apocalypse.
Yes. As a Hindu, I can say this.
The apocalypse.
We've been telling you, cows are sacred. They know shit, guys. Come on.
Everybody who's had a Big Mac within the last year is fucked. Fuck. So, and apparently, countries are just shooting down aliens now. So, like, I don't know.
That one, yeah, I've heard that one.
I don't know what the fuck is going on. I feel like we're in the middle of the Independence Day movie, but we're all the extras. so we don't know what the fuck is going on.
Will Smith, save us!
Right, none of us are Will Smith. If you think that you're Will Smith in this, you are not.
I'm sorry to break that news to you. You're not.
You're not even Jeff Goldblum in this.
Oh no! No. Okay, listen. I think the tier should be, as much as I love Will Smith, Jeff Goldblum, and then Will Smith, right? You want to be Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum is a high tier, and then Will Smith is a nice close second. But you can't be Jeff Goldblum. You got to be. That's the goal to shoot for. I feel like in all of this.
That's the gold standard.
Yeah, I don't think Will Smith flying out a freaking alien spaceship and running into space, and then hoping to God that I want to be Jeff Goldblum, like typing away behind a fucking computer and trying to figure this shit out and not have to be a fucking action hero here.
I've got a conspiracy theory about Jeff Goldblum.
Oh Jesus!
In every movie, Jeff Goldblum essentially just plays Jeff Goldblum.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's only half of the theory. The other half of the theory is after being in a movie with Jeff Goldblum, an actor always stops acting and just plays themselves like Jeff Goldblum does. Will Smith was trying to act for a certain time, and then he just started being Will Smith in the movies. And I truly believe that happened after Independence Day.
Oh man. The Jeff Goldblum effect. The Goldblum effect.
You know how jealous I was that somebody got to play in a game with Jeff Goldblum and it wasn't me?
Fuck that, yeah. Or when they got to be in a LARPing session with him, like I think it was Twin Masks in that was like 2 years ago.
For real?
Yeah, it was fairly. Yeah, he randomly came down to Twin Mask and people got to play and LARP around.
I think that was actually like on the show that travel show that he was doing.
Yeah. So one of the things he did was LARPing.
You mean I missed the chance to fight Jeff Goldblum to the death? Fuck!
Oh my god.
So let's kind of get into like where you have been, what you've been up to since we last saw you here.
Oh boy.
Which one? I think you were just kind of dipping your toes into actual plays. We were last on.
What year was this?
This was 2000. So the last actual play we talked about was Waverly Summer.
Yeah. That was my only one at the time. Oh, I love that show.
And I think you were just getting cast on Void.
Yeah. That was right around that time.
You were doing a rewatch so you could get caught up.
Yeah. Oh man, memories. That was. So Void has ended. We finished up the final season. Since then, it was such a huge privilege to been part of that show, and I loved everybody in that cast so much so that we've continued to play. So since then, we've done an entire 2 seasons of our Tales of the Loop campaign. which is called Glenbrook Unhollowed. Absolute fantastic game. I really, really loved it. A great cast. Most of the same cast from Void is in that, except for Dot. I think she was she couldn't make it to that session. So instead, we had the amazing Brandy. Thank you. On the show as well.
The cutest patoot.
The cutest patoot. Absolutely fantastic. Amazing role player. Amazing, just creative. And you think I do a lot of things? Holy fuck. You have I barely scratched the surface, my friends. That they are a talent that I cannot hope to even reach. Absolutely, man.
Right?
The amount of games
played
they
a game
designed.
that Brandy designed last night on Gen Con. We played Verhex Nockmal, where your little witch's cat familiars. It's such a cute game.
Oh,
such a wholesome game.
I did that game with that amazing person, along with all the other fantastic folks like Nomadic and Arsavad and Unmade Gaming himself, Mike. We started a brand new campaign of a Lord of the Rings show that unfortunately I was a part of, and then right now I have to step away from because I'm moving to Dallas, Texas. So there's no time for anything anymore. So, doing all of that, I got a chance to be on several live shows, which was amazing. Live in the sense of like in-person recordings. I did that oh God, all the things. Oh God, all the things.
It's been a lot.
It's been 2 years.
I think I do want to say I think the biggest year probably was last year for me, because I got to go and be an official event photographer for a D&D cruise back in March, which was wild.
D3 at Sea, that's
D3 at Sea, amazing group of people there. Got to be the event photographer for that, which then got me connected with some really fantastic creative folks. I got to then go down for my first time to Atlanta and was on ATL by night as a vampire, which was my first time ever playing Vampire the Masquerade, which was so fun. I got to be on B4 with one of my most favorite characters I've ever played, Survi. And then from there, man, I came down to LA. I got to hang out with you, Noir. Oh no, was that April?
That was
of last year, or June
January
of last year? Or was that
January? Was when I came January, right?
No. That was way too early.
My memory is made out of macaroni and cheese that's way too soupy. So I trust Anita to remember everything.
Oh man. I remember that was June, July. Thank you, Jordan. Yep. I love you. You're fantastic. But yeah, I got to come down. I got to play in a game with Matthew Mercer on the Black Nito's show. On Black Nito, on his channel.
That's still on my bucket list.
He's so cool. He's so fantastic. I highly recommend it. We had a conversation. You met him, right? When we went and hung out all together at the.
I was not there for that one.
Not for that one. No.
I missed it. I was yelling at myself so hard from this and that, like, no.
Next time for sure.
But Black Nito is also an amazing creator.
Amazing. Doing so
Tabletop
much cool
Jocks is just.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I got, this was end of 2021. I got to go to PAX Unplugged for the very first time. I was on panels for the first time in my life, and that was scary as shit. But that was a lot of fun. I got to be on, just do like Tales of the Wasted West was in August, which was one of my first big production pre-recorded shows where we had an actual set design. It was 8 episodes, so it was a mini series where I got to be on where we were up in a cabin in the woods, it's
that's so cool.
That is real
fun. Dude, just I think the last end of 2021 and all of 2022, just thinking about it, I was like, how the fuck did I how did all this happen in a single year? But yeah, I got to go to Atlanta twice last year, and I got to go to LA twice last year. Both times were fantastic. I also got to, I think one of the other big things, and probably is one of the things that helped set up for 2023 and beyond, was I got to be a cultural consultant for Riot Games for their newest character for Valorant called Harbor, who was an Indian-based character,
That's so
which
cool.
led me into this path of voice acting, because at the end of all of that, they were like, hey, you know this character well, and you also do all these shows and, you know, characters and things. So would you like to maybe audition for being the voice for it? I'm like, okay, okay. And somehow I got to the final round of that. I actually only lost to it because freaking Sunil, fantastic, talented Malhotra, is on that, and he is an established, amazing, talented voice actor who probably killed that audition compared to the, you know, little old me that has had zero experience. He's also, if no one else knows, outside of being now the voice actor for Harbor for Valorant, he also did was it Akashi, or I forget, from League, the Indian character in League. So I think he's the voice actor for that character. He's the one that most of you nerds, us nerds here, probably will recognize, is he's the voice actor of Sean Gilmore from Legends of Vox Machina.
Listen,
and so,
I
you know,
I love
someone like him. There was no chance. I had no chance.
I was pulling for you for Gilmore. Like I was like, I want to believe. Look, you will always be my Gilmore. I'm sorry.
No, freaking Sunil is amazing, talented voice actor. And you know, like a lot of people might think that, oh man, that must have been devastating that you didn't get that. But like, no, actually, first and foremost, I'm kind of glad I didn't get it, because I was so unprepared on how the voice industry works that I think it would have been fun, it would have been great, but I think I would have had a false understanding on how to start and where to go from there. And I think in the long run, it actually would have hurt me more. And also, I actually found it incredibly motivating that if I could have gotten that far without any training, without any proper actual understanding of this industry, I actually might have a shot at this if I actually applied myself into this and learned more and got coaching and actually took workshops and things like that, and connected with people in this industry. So, no, we were talking.
I know, we were just talking about you.
But oh god, and another fantastic, talented performer is that I look up to is Gnome as well.
I've got a phone call to send Gnome soon about what we were talking about before the show. But I mean, that's an amazing way to look at it, and also like to consider you made it to the final round, and like it took an established presence in this field to like. That's the one that that's like one of the few that they picked over you. Like that's like going to a tryout and them telling you, listen, the only person that was able to beat you was Michael Jordan. So sorry. Like, oh, okay, well I guess that's not so bad.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was like, if I hadn't known that, like it was funny how I found this out. Oh, the other thing I gotta do was be the photographer for the POC track for Big Bad Con last year, which if you guys have not been to, oh my god, I cannot recommend that con enough. I told people that I am willing to drop every single convention if it means that the only one I can go to going forward is Big Bad Con. I met so many talented POCs there. That was the one con that I felt dedicated their entire efforts to ensure that they uplifted BIPOC folks, uplifted LGBTQIA folks and disabled folks. They made sure that everything that they put together put them first and foremost. So one of the things I got to do was like, hey, you're doing something that's amazing. Can I do your headshot photography for these people? Because I think that one of the things about starting a business is having a professional headshot. It really helps, set yourself apart, I feel, and they're like, yeah, go ahead. And so because of that, I got to meet so many amazing, talented people through that, through that program. And yeah, I think the reason and what was really great is on top of that, they had a mentorship section where before you went in, you filled out a survey of what are the things that you want to do, like what is it that you're interested in and what field are you interested in growing in. And they brought industry professionals. I'm talking people from Dimension 20, from Critical Role, from all sorts of folks from various backgrounds, from from Wizards of the Coast and Cobalt Press and all of the other amazing, fantastic, I forget all the other publishers, but major publishers. So if you wanted to be a writer, you would then have the opportunity to talk to writers. If you had an opportunity to, if you wanted to be a voice actor, like one of the things I wanted to, you got to talk with actual voice actors. Matthew Mercer was there. Anjali Bhimani was there. I got to talk to both of them for 10 minutes where we just sat together at a table and they're like, yeah, this is what I would maybe think you could want to do. So it was an absolute magical convention.
I really wanted to go to that one, but I couldn't afford it. But
next year, buddy. This year,
I'm going. Oh, in fact, I'm doing a panel for Big Bad Con online.
There you go.
So I'm hoping they're like, oh, this guy doesn't suck so much. Let's bring him in.
Oh man. So I think
that's
those motivations. I think because that's how I found out was Anjali Bhimani was talking to me. She's like, "Oh, Sunil Malhotra, I think got the role." I'm like, "Oh shit, okay, there we go." And then when Matt heard that, I was like, "Oh, so Gilmore lost to Gilmore, got it."
See, you're even Matt's Gilmore.
Oh, it's feel weird, man. It's so weird. And Taylor was there. Taylor, who was a fantastic writer and an amazing creative on her own right, was there. We got to meet for the first time, and I'm pretty sure Taylor can attest that con was a big life-changing con. So. Yeah,
I've got to make my way there. But holy shit, dude, like you've been busy, and like every time I see you pop up, I'm like, hell yeah, because like I mean, it's always great to see good people winning, right? Like it's just like you're such a cool dude. Like I sound like a fanboy, but like no, real like I've hung out with you now a couple of times, and I'm just like that. You're a genuinely cool ass dude. And like, I'm so happy. Like, it's only a matter. Listen, I'm going to see you on Dimension 20. I'm going to see you on Critical Role. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I'm so excited for when I see that announcement.
Well, okay. My only thing is I'm not going to say no to it, but I'm hoping that if it ever happens, anything like that happens, I'm prepared for it. That's all it is just because there's so many talented people out there, you guys included, and so many amazing other folks that I regardless of who gets to be in that position, I'm just happy because it just means one more good person up on that pedestal, up on the with that major opportunity. And anybody here in chat as well, like everybody I'm seeing, I know a lot of these folks who are so goddamn talented and absolutely deserve, and not just talented, but just good, genuine people. And it's just so exciting to see. And we were talking about this before we went on chat about how like just a precursor to all the things that have changed since the first time we were together on the show, and how even you guys have changed and your format has changed on how you approach the show and how you've grown since then and all the cool things you've done since then too. So it's so exciting to see all the fantastic people getting what they want and then slowly getting all the things that they wanted, that they've been building up towards. And I genuinely think over talent, it was the goodness of all these folks that people recognized. And so, like, I don't mean to be preachy, but I really think that this is something that people need to understand is that, let me give you an example. Like I learned this early in my regular day job career. I have a background as a database administrator in the tech industry. And back in 2016, I got hired onto a company as a database administrator. And a couple of years later, they wanted to hire another person for the same position, like get another additional senior one so that they have expand the team. And I was listening to them talk about the interview process, that what was going on. And my manager who had hired me, he was telling some of the questions that he had asked and how he was dissatisfied with the answers with a lot of these. And using that process, they were eliminating people. And I sat there and I'm like, hey, I couldn't answer some of those questions. Like there were several of those questions I didn't know the answer to. but you didn't. Why'd you hire me when you're getting rid of all these people? And his one thing was, okay, it was because of two specific things. Because first and foremost, whenever I hire someone, I imagine what it would be like to be with them for 8 hours a day, every day, for 5 days a week. And if I'm going to find myself miserable, I don't care how talented you are, I don't care how smart you are, I'm not going to hire you, because that is a miserable time. That's not what I want here. The second thing is, whenever I did ask those questions that you didn't know the answer to, instead of you trying to make some bullshit response up, you would genuinely say, I'm so sorry, I don't know the answer to that question, but I know where I can find the answer. Give me an hour's time. I will promise you I'll be able to find the answer to that, and I can come back on and we'll be able to figure it out. Here's some of the sites that I can go to. I have these industry people that I can contact to find out what the answer to this question might be, or this problem might be. And so when you said that, I was like, oh, this guy is trainable. This guy is someone I can mentor, I can pass knowledge on to, so that he can grow and be, continue to be better. So, he's not going to be just stuck from when I first hired him. So those two things is why I hired you. Even if you lacked in certain technical knowledge, you're fine. That's fine. Anything and everybody can be trainable. That, as long as you're not a dick.
It's very hard to train people to not be a dick if they're a dick.
Yeah, exactly, right? So
it's never too late to stop being a dick.
Exactly. Oh my god, wait, that is a specific reference, and I don't know if anybody has seen it yet, but
no, that's why I didn't mention where it came from. But I'm such a dick.
So I really do think, obviously, like, having some skills in that is going to help you, but you're gonna build on those skills anyways as you grow in whatever field you want to get into. You're gonna slowly build connections. You're gonna be able to meet people, and they'll recognize your skills. But the biggest thing I feel is, if they don't think you're someone that they can work with, that's just as a person, I genuinely think that is a bigger barrier for a lot of folks from being able to get in and grow in the space. And, your skills will dictate how fast you grow. It doesn't mean that you won't grow and you won't reach your goal. It'll just be a matter of when than if, right?
Yeah.
And we're such a collaborative industry that we work together to help fill in whatever gaps that we do have. Like, for example, if we are on, a show, right? You're on a show. It is a collaborative thing. There are several times where I'm just sitting there going, I don't know how to act. I don't know how any of this works. I don't know how to emote sometimes. And I start panicking and going, am I entertaining? Am I doing a good job? But then that's when you kind of let it go, and you let your fellow players to then come in and, take the scene and do what they want with it. And then hopefully through that, you get inspired and be like, oh, okay, now I can jump in here and I can do this. Like, every show I've ever been on, every other TTRPG live show, be it a one-shot, be it charity, be it, any of my running shows that I'm on, I learned so much by just watching the people around me and seeing them and be how talented that they are, and be like, oh, there's like, for example, Void. I'm so honored that I got to be on Void and be on Unmade Gaming's channel, because freaking Nomadic and Air Savant and Dot and Mike, all of them are such fantastic actors and players and performers that by being around them, I felt that I learned so much, and I still learn so much, right? I still feel like I don't hold a candle to any single one of them and what they're capable at the table. So, just being around.
I'm gonna step in there and go, I've had the privilege of sitting at the GM seat at a table that had you for an actual play with Into the Southlands, and like, you were very much, I think you were very much nervous about, like, mechanics and all that kind of stuff. But the difference between like someone being nervous and kind of afraid of doing it, and you was like, you came in with a very clear idea of your character. You attached it to your culture. I find that when I talk to you and when I think about that experience, I feel like when you aren't sure about what you're doing, you create a foundation of things that you are certain about, and you kind of work from there, which is an approach that when I watched it, I was like, oh, and I kind of stole it a little bit. I'm like, okay, if I'm uncertain about like a system or the people at the table, or like it's a new kind of format, or if there's just any level of uncertainty, I recall going, I'm gonna do what KP did, which was I'm gonna create a like the only thing I can control is my character. So I'm going to make a character that I know inside and out, and then we'll figure it out from there. I watched you do that with Into the Southlands, and you made an amazing character that made some off the wall choices that I was just like, this is great. I see what you mean about like learning from other people. I just gotta let you know, like, you're also teaching in that exchange.
It's a collaborative thing, right? And
you learn from each other.
I'm pretty sure you guys, as performers, also have heard this, but this is something funny enough. A quote that I recently learned, more so than before, is someone had told me, "Good artists borrow, great artists steal."
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think we all come into this with the understanding. I mean, like, the people that I feel don't succeed are the folks that hold on to knowledge, that hold on to, no, this is my process. This is how I do things. There's no way if I give this up, give this process up, this knowledge up, then I'm no longer competitive. I'm going to lose out on opportunities. Well, no, that's not how that works at all. You learn from each other. You teach each other, so that way you collectively grow. And then eventually what ends up happening anyways is people are finding out something. They're like, oh, I really want to make this project work. Who are the people that I can bring on for this? And then you remember the people that helped you out. You remember the people that you enjoyed working with. So then you hire them on. So yeah, exactly. Rising tides raises all ships. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right. And so I genuinely believe that that's the case. Eventually, somewhere down the line, it's going to come back. It's going to come back to you. And hoarding that knowledge is only going to make you bitter, and you thinking that you are not getting what you deserve, and people are just going to be like, I don't want to.
Like, I think a side effect of people that hoard the knowledge also aren't willing to learn. It's if you come into this thinking you know everything, no matter how good or how experienced you are, people aren't going to want to work with you. Like, to kind of elaborate on your part, the more you give of yourself in a project, the more people are going to remember you, because they have that piece of you that you gave freely. There are games to me that I've played where they are just games, right? They're just, okay, I did it. It's done. Cool. But the ones that stick with you are the ones where I have felt something, where someone made me feel. And you I don't think you can invoke that if you're holding back.
I feel that. Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta be willing to put yourself in. I'm not gonna say like you gotta be willing to try something different, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Right. But
So there's actually a quote from the episode you were on previous that I just heard, and I was like, that's so good. It was make your platform a ladder.
Yeah.
Because then you can raise people up with you.
Exactly. Oh man.
Yeah, that came from Punkle Nix.
Yes. I love Nick so much. I love Nick so much. Oh, I wanna hang out with him soon again. But yeah, exactly. It's rather than, because if you start cutting off the ladder behind you, or start lifting it off so people don't have access to it, others are going to see that. The people above you are going to see that, whoever is further along, and they're going to be like, oh shit, we don't want to give this ladder to this person if they're going to keep facing it. Yoink. And there you go. It's gone.
You know, and I think, like, to be honest, like, just to be completely transparent, there are people that have done extraordinarily well that do pull the ladder up with them. The thing is, their ceiling, I feel like, is always going to be lower than somebody that's going to
Absolutely.
continuously work hard and share. So like,
Absolutely.
if you're just starting out or you've been at it for a while and you've kind of hit a wall and you see other people up there, that are a little bit more selfish, just keep going.
Yeah.
Don't worry about their race. Keep running yours.
Exactly. Because I was talking to a friend who they shared a worry of theirs. They're like, oh, man, I really want to get into this thing, but I can't seem to be making any headway in that. And I'm still doing a lot of like the behind the scenes, the production side of things. I enjoy it, but I really want to be here. And I talked to him and listen, man, what you're doing here, first and foremost, still matters. And it's still super important and super helpful. None of this happens without what you're doing here. Yeah. And I promise you, if you continue to do things here, people are going to recognize, because you have the talent here as well. You already have a lot of this talent. And I genuinely think you shoot to the stars if you can make it. If all it is giving you that one opportunity. But that opportunity, I promise you, will come from all the good you're doing here and connecting with all these other people who then are going to be like, oh man, this guy is fantastic. I want to work with him. What projects can I put him in? And then when they go around that, they're going to be like, oh wait, he can do this too? He can do all of this as well? Well, here, you come on down. But that's how it happened to me. Like until 2020 or like maybe late 2019, I was behind the camera. I was a photographer. Still I'm a photographer, but like I've never been. People don't understand. I have major stage fright. I'm only just now slowly getting over it. I still get attacks of stage fright once in a while. It was to the point where I actually visibly start shaking. Like my voice starts cracking and it starts shaking. I just
feel
like
that's so hard.
Life. Right, so my entire life, and so I don't even know why I got even chosen for Waverly. I can't exactly remember. I think it was just people. I think my photography helped me, because through my photography I connected with people in the industry. I got connected to like my photo shoots of Critical Role and other TTRPG players. I got when I say Critical Role, I mean like cosplayers who were cosplaying characters from Critical Role. I got recognized through that, and then the TTRPG community was like, "Oh, dude, this is so cool! You should play TTRPG." And then I started playing it with friends. I'm like, "Oh, this is fantastic!" And then that group unfortunately couldn't meet anymore. I'm like, "Oh man, I wish I could play more TTRPG. I wish I could do maybe remotely, like someone maybe can play with me." And I think that's how it happened. I think at that point, Sarah, amazing DM, great friend, fantastic person, reached out to me like, "Hey, would you be interested to being a part of the show?" I'm like, okay, I've never done this. And you're like, "It's fine. It's just a bunch of us playing, and the only difference is you have an audience." I'm like, "Okay, I'll try." And off to the races from there. I got to do that. And then from there, freaking, I think it was Dot or Nomadic, they saw some of the stuff I did. And then on top of that, I'm sure they saw, how I conducted myself online and as a person. And they gave me the opportunity to be on the show with them. And that was also life-changing. And I'm like, this is amazing. I love this. And it just slowly built up like that, right? And I only got this far because people were willing to give me that ladder to climb on. And come up.
Exactly. Like, I was looking back on some of your photography work as well, and like you've taken a lot of pictures of people that have kind of exploded, like have grown in the time that you've taken those pictures too. Like Jenny D, was it Jenny D when you took those shots?
I would argue she kind of was very, very.
She was starting. I think to me, well, okay, I think there's she was big in the cosplay world, but in the TTRPG world, I kind of feel like she was just starting. Like she was like the jester.
Yeah, yeah.
But like right now, if you look into the like honestly, I feel like Jenny D was responsible for the biggest bitch slap to wizards during the whole OGL thing. So it's just like I think one of the things that I want to a piece of advice that I kind of want to run by you before like I offer this to the world is just like there you're going to get 1,000 no's, and then you're going to get like 100 yeses, and some of those yeses might not feel like they matter, but they do. Like, if you're doing this because you love it, then do it. And I think through your love of what you're doing and not chasing like, well, I'm gonna say no to this person because they only have this many followers.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you're
Chasing
just
clout.
doing things because you love it, the returns are gonna be much, much more impressive than if you're just chasing follower count, chasing like dollar signs and all that kind of stuff.
The follower count thing, yes, I see the appeal because you think, oh, the higher number I have, the more platform I have, and therefore I will be recognized. But I promise you, and this is something I'm learning myself, the numbers, oh, it'd be so cool to hit 20K or whatnot, right? And it's a self-gratifying thing, but ultimately in the end, it actually doesn't matter in the actual industry because I promise you, there are people who are maybe hundreds of followers at the most because they chose to stay that level, who are absolute powerhouses in the space. You guys are fantastic. And I think each one of you, regardless of your follower count, are talented people who deserve and have the ability and probably are in the trajectory to hitting some really amazing things. But it wasn't because of your follower count, unless you're trying to be like a social media influencer, right? That's one thing. That's a completely separate different category. I'm not gonna knock it because people make a good, decent living off of that, and it is a viable thing. But it's such a hard path to follow, and you never really know what will get you there. It's like unless you go viral, right? You don't really know what else is behind it. But I promise you, rather than the follower count, a lot of these actual production houses or like actual publication houses, for if you're trying to be a writer, if you're trying to be an actor, whatever you're trying to be, they're not looking for how big your reach is rather than what your performance is on when the time comes. Like, how were you on an actual stream? How were you? What was your writing experience like? What have you worked on? What is the things that you've done? Those will genuinely matter, because I promise you, as many followers as I have, if someone tells me to write an entire TTRPG book, get fucked. I don't know what to do. It's gonna be shit. I'm gonna try, because it's always worth trying, and that's how I've gotten so far. Is I'm like, I've never done this, but okay, I'll try it. I'm not going to be as good as someone who's probably been doing this exclusively, So
I think being willing to fail is a very important part of growing in whatever you're doing, especially in this. Like,
I recently heard
oh no, go ahead.
I was going to say, I recently heard a quote from a very famous voice actor whose name I'm completely blanking right now. Like someone who was very prolific in the 90s, who did like G.I. Joes and Transformers. Jack Kirby? Not Jack Kirby. Jack something. I think it might be Jack Kirby. I'm blanking his name right now. I'm so sorry.
If it's somebody that's done work for the Avengers, it probably is Jack Kirby.
So the late
great Jack Kirby.
Yeah, he was on a podcast, and he said the quote he told me is, people think that if they don't, like, you go and do auditions for 10 things, right? 10 auditions. The ones that you didn't get, stop thinking that you failed them. You didn't fail. You didn't get rejected. He said, don't think of them as rejections. Think of them as you didn't get selected. You just were not the person for that role at that time. That was it. It didn't mean that they didn't not hire you because you're a terrible person, or like, oh, they didn't select people. When they get these auditions, they didn't go, okay, let's pick out all the shit people here. Oh man, this guy sucks. This guy sucks. This person sucks. They went, okay, out of all of these ones, who is the closest to what we want, and let's select them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you went through 10 things and you didn't get 9 of those 10 things, it's not because you were rejected for 9 things. It was you didn't get selected for those 9 things.
Yeah.
And now you got selected for that 10th one because you were the right person at the right time for this right role. And I think having that quote really shifted the perspective for me, because I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. If I fail at it, fine. I didn't have the right skills at the right time for this right role. I just wasn't the right person for this. Like, for example, when I didn't get the role for Harbor or Valorant, I'm like, I just didn't get selected because I wasn't the right person. I didn't have the right level of skills just yet. I needed to grow a little more. I needed to build my capabilities a bit more so I could be more competitive. That next time around, when I get another role, maybe it's a role that's more geared towards my voice, my talents, and I'm capable of doing it. Is the time? That's how I'll get it.
Yep.
I got you.
And stretch. Thanks, Sminx, for reminding us to take care of ourselves.
I cracked my back.
I had a job interview this week that didn't go as planned. I didn't end up getting it, but one of the things that that I did that stood out to them was they were looking at my body of work in actual plays and doing overlay design and that sort of thing. And they'd asked me questions in the interview about that. And so when I didn't get selected for, like you said, for that, for the job, one of the things that they mentioned in the email where I ended up getting the bad news was, if we still are very impressed with this portion of your work, if we have any freelance opportunities regarding that in the future, would you be interested? So it's... Even though it was a net loss, there was still that sort of thread of, here are things that we do like about you. Keep going in that direction.
Yeah, exactly.
And keep building your skills so that one day
and hold on
you
to
will
that
be
thread,
that right person.
Exactly. And a lot of people feel that when that happens, like, oh, they're just doing this gesture. They're not really meaning it. They're just trying to be nice. But no. If they give you that thread, hold on to that thread, keep building other things on the side, and then, give it some time. And then maybe a couple months after, maybe 6 months after, however long you are comfortable waiting, you reach out again and like, hey, I know I didn't get that position, but we had a conversation, and you mentioned that you might have been interested in someone for this role. Here's some others. I just wanted to keep you up to date. It's not even about, hey, do you have an open position? Can I start applying? It's more of, I just wanted to give you an update on what I've been doing since then and how I have grown, what my body of work has grown into now. Here you go. And then leave the decision to them at that point and be like, oh, this is cool. This is great. Or, oh, this is fantastic. We still don't have the right role for you yet, but this is great. Thank you so much for reminding me that you're still looking, that you're out there,
Hey, thanks for the sub, Joy. One of the things
Did you guys name your subs Gnome Dick?
Nomadic.
No, that's Nomadic.
Oh, no.
But you know what? We might need to change that now. Thank you for no dicking. Critical. One of the other things that I've kind of picked up from you is like you're very good at marketing yourself, and that's one of the things that like in this industry, that's invaluable, being your own ally. And being creative in how you do it. One of the things that I've started doing recently when I'm filling out applications for like different shows and whatnot is like, one, I have a log of all the shows I've been on. And I've taken to like grabbing comments from like the VODs where people are like, I enjoyed your character, and kind of putting them in that portfolio. So when I send it, it's not just, hey, I was in this show, here's how many viewers, but it's like, I was in this show and here's how people received me. Like you've always got to be trying to advocate for yourself in the best way possible. Oh my God,
you're your own ally, right? I mean, if you're not going to be an ally for yourself, no one else is going to come in and be an ally for you. They're going to try, and they can only do it so long before they have their own energy reserves, right? They can only do it so many times before they're like, I'm so sorry, I have to go on and do other things. Best of luck, and then move on, right? You can't expect that from everybody, but you yourself can be your constant advocate and showcase your skills. And mainly because you know yourself best, right? You know what your strengths and weaknesses are, and you can tailor your marketing about you a lot better than other people can do it for you, right? You maybe ask for help on how maybe to format it, but the content itself is something you can best provide. And yeah, I think it's also nice to be able to do it, because then it's a nice reminder for you that, I'm not that terrible at this. I've done this. I've done all of this, and people have enjoyed it. So maybe I should continue doing it, right? So.
Hell yeah.
Got a hype train in chat. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but that was a hype for you, for the hype train. Hype yourself up.
Heck yeah.
We hyped. All right, so I've got to get to some of the questions that we've added to the show.
Yes.
And and this is the big one. So hold on to your hats, everybody. There is a war in the TTRPG space between those of us that see dice as dice.
Oh, that one.
You roll them, and that's it. That's the end of it. And then there are those who feel like dice are forbidden candy to put in your mouth and crunch. I understand that there are candy dice, but they don't like candy dice because that's crunching, not crunching. So KP, now that we got you back here, I have to know, what side of this are you on? Are you on the crunch crew or stop the crunch?
All right. I myself don't crunch dice as much. Maybe once in a while, if it looks a very pretty singular one, I don't shove them multiple. It's just like ooh, that's a pretty one. But what I'm going to say is, you do you, man. Do what makes you happy.
Oh, no!
If not crunching dice makes you happy, don't crunch dice. If crunching dice makes you happy, crunch dice. Be safe in whatever direction. This is the same thing, whatever your sexual preference is. Same applies here. So listen, man, you'd say I will be the Swiss Alps of this entire conversation.
Be crunch responsible?
Yes, be crunch responsible.
No!
It's another one for my team, baby.
I'm sick of you cowards. You and Brennan Lee Mulligan.
Who am I to tell people what they can do with their own bodies, what they can do with their own dice? Dice autonomy, body autonomy. That's where I stand.
We have to stop this madness. Listen,
the forbidden gusher. Those are liquid core, Joy.
let me tell you the folly of you crunch responsible people. Dice are shared. I don't want to roll on your 2d6.
Don't share dice. You find. Listen. I feel like maybe this is one of those. We have safety tools, right? We have safety tools for our games. Maybe one of the questions you ask is, do you crunch? Okay, if you crunch, this is my line. Please don't crunch my dice. Or, okay, that's a veil. Please don't crunch it too much. Or if you want to crunch, bring your own dice to crunch.
We're going to start labeling people as crunchers. Like, I don't know if I want them at my table. They're a cruncher.
Don't discriminate based on crunch.
That's where this is going.
Find how you can operate peacefully and collaborate while still having both at your table.
Just walk into a table like, awful lot of crunchers in here.
Meanwhile, we're going to be at the table like, well, I need to get my dice bag out.
Joy, no.
Gamer girls spinning dice for sale on my Twitter.
No!
You see what you're enabling? This is your fault.
It's a market out there for this. Who am I to stop it, buddy? What am I? Who am I but a brown man on the internet to tell people what they can do with their dice? Shove it wherever you want to shove it.
Oh, no.
Just be responsible. Don't need to go to the hospital for this, guys. That's all I'm saying.
Disgusting.
Poor dice with
Listen.
gamer girl bathwater inclusions.
Stop! Stop!
There are a lot of fetishes out there. If dice are your fetish, who am I to stop? What you do at your table in your bedroom is what you do. Resin is okay.
Resin is toxic.
That's a good point. Resin is toxic, but is it toxic once it is set, or is it toxic in the process of making it?
It's still still remains. There's like a little bit of toxicity, and it does leach out. With like. If it gets wet, it does leach a little bit.
Okay. And if you have that knowledge and you continue to chop, that's Darwinism at work. I'm kidding. Don't
let them die. Let them die.
That's Kappa's team, to be sure.
No. Just be responsible. Don't overdo it. Like anything in this world, don't overdo anything. If it is, I feel like do it in moderation if you have to, and if it's in a moderate, there's so many things in this world that can kill you. You
really want to go out by a D20? What if you chew it and they find it in your stomach?
Forget a D20,
and you rolled a 1?
D4.
Oh,
that'll
God, that's tearing you up.
Yeah,
that's tearing you up all the ways.
Okay, like I said, what makes you happy makes you happy. If you don't hurt yourself and don't hurt others in the process, and you're good. You're all good.
We need to do like a quick recap of like of all the sides of this war for those viewers who are not normally with us. So we've got the two main factions. We've got the Crunch crew and we've got Stop the Crunch.
Right.
Yes. Those are our two mains. We've also got Be Crunch Responsible, the Crunch Responsibly folks. Hello. We have Kappa's, which is Let Them Die. Which is if you choke on your dice, you choke on your dice. We've got
Swallow
HTT
Savior,
Paladin, which is the Swallow Savior. You just roar the dice whole.
Jesus Christ.
And then we have Bria, who is of course the truest. Praise Abria, the truest savior of TTRPGs, who is actually on the side of funding this war. Abria is a merchant of death and is designing dice to be
more delicious
looking and smelling. Was looking at getting scented inks for dice in order to
researching on how to make this more...
Listen, I'm about to expose Abria. Abria came on this show.
Today I'm gonna make an ink made of cocaine. See if that gets people going.
Abria came on the show with, oh no, I would never crush die. But I'm the CEO of a dice company, so I'm working to make them more delicious looking. And I'm trying to find flavor scented ink.
So let me tell you, you know what I feel is this is such a shitty thing to be compared to, but it was what the thought came in my head as to what part I play in this war. I am that fucking advertisement, that Coca-Cola advertisement where the police are facing off against a crowd and there's a Kylie fucking Jenner walks through the middle, is like, guys, just have a Pepsi. It's all good. I need to be the most ineffective asshole of everything's okay, guys. Here's a Coke.
I need to design a game about crunching. Like we've got our factions. Let's just fight it out.
I'm that guy, and then people are gonna be like, this fucking guy, this guy, this
crunch or die.
Right?
Oh, I like that. Okay, we've got other follow-up questions. Here we go.
Oh dear.
You get to play in any TTRPG with any 5 people that are alive right now. You get to choose the GM and the other 4 people at your table.
Don't do this to me. No.
Who you picking, what you playing, and who's the GM? This is the question that pisses everybody off. They're like, why did you ask me this?
Because there's no way to choose. Okay, how about this? No, that I still don't like that answer. I don't.
I wouldn't have asked this if you were from Team Stop the Crush. I just want you to know.
No, he asks to everybody.
I'm petty that way.
He asks it to everybody, regardless of affiliation.
Dude, I don't know.
Don't expose me, Anita.
I always expose you and your deepest, darkest secrets.
Oh man,
It's responsibility.
The thing is, I already have the huge privilege of being able to play and be GM'd by some of the most talented people in the space. You being Noir, you being my GM for it, that was fantastic. Freaking getting to play with my crew on Unmade Gaming is fantastic. So I'm already like, that itch has constantly been satisfied. I guess the only aspect of me is just getting excited to see how I get to be with other people in terms of just to experience different styles, because I really don't think there's any of the GMs I've ever had, I've never felt like they were terrible GMs. All the players I've ever had, I've never felt they were terrible. Every single experience has been a fantastic experience in the sense of even if aspects may be lacking, I still learned something from each of those tables, right? And each one is a key memory for me now, because I just enjoyed playing with people that being a kid and doing things that I never imagined in my life that I would be doing at the age of 30 freaking 2, almost 32. So it's just I can't. I mean, obviously, if I were to go as a vanity thing, I would imagine it just for the experience. Someone like Unhinged as Brennan is in his shows and as a DM, just to kind of be able to experience that kind of style of DMing, or have a Bria, because I had the privilege of playing a single game with her for a charity thing.
Yeah, I got to play with her once. It was fantastic.
It was great. I enjoyed it, right? I would love, I think, and I don't know who it would be at the table for this, but sometime in the future, I would love to be in a game or a campaign that explores Indian mythos and Indian cultural context and bring that into this world, and have a GM that is understanding, who knows that world and comes from that world, and then be able to build upon that and create this world that I can explore and see similarities and be like, I know what that's about, but I loved how they transformed it into this, and have fellow Daisy players be a part of that.
I was actually gonna ask, like, do you know any Bollywood actors that you would like to play with?
I don't know what the fuck do you think I am. No, no, not even close. I may know someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone.
Oh, this doesn't have to be actually people that you know. It could be anyone.
It could.
So
if there are any Bollywood actors that you would want to play with.
Oh, okay. I was like, there's no. Oh man.
It could be anybody in the world.
They're also damn bombastic and talented, and I think that any single one of them would be so fun to be around at a table.
I love watching Bollywood movies just because they give me so many ideas of how I describe criticals.
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, I saw a movie where a dude was getting shot at and he jumped on each bullet and kicked the guy who was shooting him in the head, and it was the coolest fucking thing I'd ever seen.
There's one player or one person I know. I would never want them to be a DM because of how fucking chaotic it would be, but one actor who I would love to just have at the table because of the chaos that they would bring, and that is Ranveer Singh, who, if you don't know, I don't know if you've ever seen what famous movies would someone might have seen him in. Bajirao Mastani. Oh, I know exactly what. You guys know that GIF of the dance sequence where everybody's in the song is called Malhari. He's the dude, like everybody, anytime anybody thinks of a Bollywood song, they're like, oh, I love the dance in this Bollywood song. It's a how do I describe this? It's a periodic piece. They're all soldiers dressed up, and it's the captain running through, and it's all high energy, hyping everybody up before a battle. I'm
putting the GIF in the chat.
Yeah. So Let me see if that's the one I'm thinking of. Yep, that's the one. Yeah. So the actor, he's the actor for that, and I would imagine he would be a fantastic, because I've seen him, because I always thought he was a serious actor, like a super serious acting type. But then I've seen him outside of that as a person and be on like interviews, or like he did an interview and hangout with Will Smith for one of his, like when Will Smith was doing that YouTube channel, the YouTube show that he was doing. One of the things he did was go to India and go meet up with Bollywood actors. And I think he ended up being in a Bollywood song for one of the movies that just came out.
Oh, that's
Student,
awesome.
I think it was Student of the Year 2 was the movie that he was a part of. But in that process, he hung out with Ranveer Singh, and holy shit, that dude is a wild card.
He's hot too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I would think that, obviously, I think I would be honored to always have all of the Khans, the kings of Bollywood, which are Shah Rukh Khan, Amir Khan, and Salman Khan. Those three, the Khans of Bollywood, as they're called. And literally, if anybody doesn't know, Khan is the Arabic word or the Muslim word for king or royalty. So it's quite fitting. They're the big leagues, the big boys of the industry, and it would be an honor to have them at the
See, that's so much cooler than what we have in Hollywood. We have the Hollywood Chris's.
Hey, sorry.
This doesn't have the same ring to it.
Ugh. Fucking disgusting. Oh, dude, that would be such a hype ass table though. Like, I would fucking watch it. I would watch the shit out of that. Leave Chris Evans out of it.
I don't think they titled themselves. I feel like the world titled them and be like, oh, the Chris's of Bollywood. I mean, Chris's of Hollywood.
Yeah. I can't remember who. Oh wait, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt, Chris Evans. Who's the other Chris? I can't remember. Pratt. That's the one.
You said Pratt.
Oh yeah, Pratt, Pine, Hemsworth. I thought there was another one.
Evans.
Pratt and Evans.
Yeah, those ones. 4 of them, I think.
The 4 Chris's of the apocalypse.
Oh, that's a one-shot idea.
Oh man.
Here's the other question that we ask everybody, and it's much easier. You are the emperor of the TTRPG space for one day. Any 3 things that you want to happen, no matter how massive, no matter how wacky, happens. Like, if you snap your fingers and were like, I want Magpie Games to be bigger than Wizards, then it happens. Like, whatever you choose to have happen, happens. What do you do with your 3 commands?
Oh boy. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, like, why limit it to one single publication house? I would honestly be like, I want all of the indie publications house to be at least at or above the level of Wizards. I feel that would be amazing to have a solid competition like that, because ultimately competition benefits everybody and benefits the consumer, right? So we will be elevated. This industry will be elevated. I would think. I would definitely feel like any production house behind, for example, or the teams behind BIPOC or LGBTQIA centric or disabled centric publications, I would love to have those specifically elevated. So, for example, the team behind Sina Una or Swords and Lesbians and things like that, I would love to see more of. I want more of that. I want a solid publication house that just churns these out. Perfect. Fuck the demand. Fuck the demographic. Just churns out quality, amazing material and just has the funding to do so over and over and over again until by either choice or no choice, it's just accepted that is the status quo. That would be fantastic, I think.
And I also want a whole genre of lesbian games. I want thirsty sword lesbians. I want lesbians and swords. I want dungeons and lesbians. I want
lesbians and dragons.
Man. Like, I want to see a robust industry that then thrives, which then forces all the other competitive companies to start creating those type of stuff, you know?
Lesbians on bikes,
So
lesbians in space,
yeah.
lesbians finder. I think that's a dating app.
Tales from the lesbians. Lesbian hearts.
It's so cool, right? Like I would love to have like stories by and about celebrating trans folks, so stories and by about celebrating the entire spectrum of neurodivergent folks, like just giving them these cool creative opportunities to tell their stories and celebrate themselves and show this celebration to others, and so that way through that experience you create empathy, you create understanding, and you create a joy for all of this and reduce the fear of all of this, right? So lesbians the masquerade.
That's a winner.
Babe, you've gotta make all these logos for these games. So
Lesbians in the dark. Some of these are starting to sound like porn titles, guys.
I think that last one actually is.
Oh no. Do they have a trademark on it? If they don't have a trademark on it, we're grabbing that title.
Lesbians a New Generation.
Avatar lesbians.
So
lesbians take an RPG. No.
So I think that would be the is that only two that I've created at this point? Yeah. Create competition and create space for minority folks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Oh, I mean, and I think maybe hand in hand with that is create production houses that make shows.
Yeah.
Have the funding to make shows that are robust and can use these books and use these stories and bring opportunity to all of these people that normally don't get these opportunities. A la what Big Bad Con tried to do or is trying to do. But at a more funded level, like all the monies to you, please. Yeah. Bill Gates level of money for each one of you.
Hell yeah! I know, I love that. Man, I want more production houses in places other than LA.
That's the other thing.
That's why I admire what the folks in Atlanta do. Like, like. They looked at LA and was just like, nah, we good over here. And I'm like, okay.
yeah. And I think that just makes the industry a lot better. I also would love to see this go global. And it already kind of is, but like just have like, for example, Daisies and Dragons out in India. Just being able to find out that there's a community in a completely different country already doing something that I've been wanting to do out here, but like doing it better and doing it, just having a community of Indians in India love Dungeons and Dragons, and then using their culture, our shared culture, bringing that into these games, I think is so fantastic. They're doing a fantastic job over there, and if you guys don't know them or haven't heard about them, I'm obviously a little biased, but fuck that. I'm going to use that bias and tell you, please go check out Daisies and Dragons. They're fantastic. I've never been on their show. It's one of the things I would love to do in the future. Time difference sucks. I'm just going to state that. But I think it's one of those things where you get to experience an entire different culture and thought process with the same platform. So you have that base level, that foundation of commonality, and then using that, find and explore what the differences are, and then through that build understanding and empathy and just grow and learn more. So go check them out. Go check out things like Sina Uno. Go and actually actively grab on to and use and learn things from other things outside of your typical Wizards of the Coast. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that you probably have enough of that in your life already. Go explore. Go diversify yourself a little bit.
I would love, like, you're mentioning like international APs, and I would love like a translation service so we can watch. Like,
I don't even think they're in a different language. I think they're just.
I know they're not, but I'm saying like, imagine being able to watch, APs from all over the place. Like, I think this particular generation, a lot of us were raised on anime, and so
Yeah.
we've learned to appreciate sub and dubbing. I would love that kind of service for actual plays where we can like listen in,
Yeah.
because I love watching other cultures approach to communal storytelling, because that's all this is. That would be incredible.
Yeah, exactly. So, man, yeah, there's this, and then I think like actually, I could be wrong about it. We're in a generation where we're so international that even that we have access to international media, and people are learning about them, that they are actually more popular, I feel, than local productions. Because if I'm recalling this correctly, the actual play that is the largest in this category is like in South America, like from Brazil or something like that. Or I
Yeah.
forget, I could be
Yeah.
completely wrong, but like the top streaming TTRPG actual play outside of your big Critical Role and all of that, I think is from like Brazil or some
I
other
think
country.
somewhere. Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
I know Japan has a really big one. I know Poland has a massive TTRPG scene.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just like the fact that we're like a little disconnected. I think if with that service, it would bring a connection
Yeah.
that would just be incredible.
Exactly. I mean, but we're also in a world where people are enjoying things like K-pop, where they have no freaking clue what they're talking about. Half the time, I probably never looked up the meaning of the lyrics, but I just love vibing to it and enjoy listening to it, right? So if you're already willing to go that far to enjoy media and entertainment from another space based off of that, I think it won't be a big of a leap as people think it is to have like some subtitles at the bottom, and then listening while they watch people be entertainers from other countries.
Hell yeah.
Hell
But
yeah. And you mentioned K-pop in the presence of joy, so I apologize for anything that might happen.
Listen, I'm already like, man, that industry goes by so fast that I already feel old, because I started around Girls' Generation and Big Bang and the Wonder Girls. That was my start. Those are my stands. That's what I got into. There was SNSD and all of them. And so I feel so old. Like Big Bang, like what was it? No, shit. Well, who's the big guys that I'm suddenly blanking the name of?
BTS.
The really, yeah, BTS. Like that was the latest I've ever gotten in this space. And favorite song is obviously GGG. You can't, that's the OG, that song. Sorry, I saw the question about what's your favorite SNSD song. That was the song that got me into them. GGGG, baby. Sorry. I love that song. It's cute. It's corny. I love the music video for it. I heard that, and then that was just me going, yeah, this is my group. This is my crew. I love this.
Oh, you've made a fan. You've made a fan of my sister. All right. So, did we want to take a quick break? I know that it's time for me to do human things like get more coffee.
How dare?
All right. So, in that case, we'll be back with the dark roast in just a few minutes here, everybody. Please stay tuned. We promise we'll bring them back.
All right, everybody.
I can't go anywhere. I promise.
Then you don't tell anybody.
We'll be right back, everybody. We'll see you very soon. KP lockdown. All right. We are free. And we're back. Hello.
Or so you say. I don't believe you in your lies.
No, I'm accurate.
Your deceptions.
Because it's an FAQ today. Yes, I do have cat ears on my headband. I 3D printed them last night, but they didn't make it in time. They didn't finish printing in time for the stream where we were playing cats. So now I just have cat ears on my headband because they're kind of a vibe.
Cool though.
I found them on Thingiverse, and they're actually designed for this my specific brand of headset for the Arctis 7s, because there's a fabric strap and it goes through the cat ear. And I discovered this.
that a dice?
I can store dice in them.
For snacking on later.
Disgusting! Cut the cameras! No,
Chaos, I live.
AJ, the Admit of Shadows, has arrived for the Dark Roast segment.
Exactly. We are on the Dark Roast segment, and we have a few standard questions for this as well that we top off with the That Guy segment. Do it! Push that melon in! Oh! So, to start with the Dark Roast, we have a new segment called Petty Primetime, where we give you space to... I love that reaction. We give you space to subtweet live.
Jesus Christ. No, you already know I've gotten in trouble for that once. I don't think I need to get in trouble for it again.
You don't have to partake. I do it mainly so I can. And Anita can sometimes. If you want to hop in, feel free.
How about this? You start the topic because I don't know what even to begin with, and if I can jump in, I'll jump in.
Okay, so here's mine.
What irks you today, Noir?
It is noticed when people talk about not liking all white cast, and then they promo all white cast. We see that, especially during Black History Month. You're not slick.
Yeah,
I have a list.
Probably not the smart thing to do.
Yeah, so don't.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, yeah. So like one of the panels that
what grinds your beans?
Grinds your beans today. One of the things I'm doing here is I'm doing a panel. I did one yesterday on how to get into actual plays. Like how do you start one, and or how do you get cast into one? What is the process like? What does it take? And one of the conversations we did have is, listen, if you're pursuing actual plays as a profession, right? You're trying to do this as in a professional capacity. You're not just playing anymore. You're not just playing at a table with friends anymore. That's not it anymore. You are now. The optics has changed. So to adjust to that optics, you really need to understand what your table consists of and how you're mapping things out. What kind of opportunities and what kind of people do you want sitting at that table, right? As much as you enjoy having a game with friends, which is still, I feel like that's such a funny argument to have when you are creating a table, because you're like, well, then you're telling me that you only have exclusively white friends. Like, you're telling me you don't have non-white friends to play at a table with and still call it a bunch of friends playing at a game, right? I don't understand what the concept here is. And it's no longer, I think, a environment where, early in the TTRPG space where it didn't exist, the industry didn't exist really. So yeah, at that time, they're like, oh, we've been playing together, we're a bunch of friends, we enjoy doing this, and we decided to put it up online. I get it. But I think this industry has become so robust, and it is a viable business, that if you're approaching this to stream and make it into a business and make it into something profitable, or make it into something that you're actually going to have a viewership for, you probably need to start thinking of all of the aspects of that, not just, I'm just getting a bunch of people and sitting down and playing a game together. You can, but you're going to be facing a lot of uphill battle from there, and or backlash and or criticism.
I don't even mind I don't love all white games, but I don't mind it. But what I mind are the people that are just like, yeah, we need more diversity in this space. We need more diversity in this space. Also, this Monday, check out my game that has absolutely no diversity.
Yeah.
Like, hey, fam, what?
Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah.
It's giving hypocritical. It's just
my petty is a little smaller. No plan survives first contact with the players. Just take a breath and expand your story. Stop trying to hamstring them because they're hitting your plot beats a little too fast.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that because literally, day before yesterday, I was at a grocery store and I was talking. I don't know how this conversation even started, but the grocer started talking about. Oh man, we got into. I'm GMing for the first time in a D&D game, and it's been a while since we last played, so I was so excited to dive into something super epic and had this plan for making some epic things happen on the first day, and that's not what ended up happening. My players decided they were like, oh, it's just going to be a calm, peaceful game where they have conversation and then maybe recollect together. And I'm just as a DM, I was really hoping to do something epic, but I felt like I failed as a DM. I'm like, no, you're not a failure. You actually were a successful DM because ultimately what you're trying to do is create an environment where your players are having fun. And it doesn't mean you won't get to do this ever. I promise you that this will come back around. And if anything else, it'll be more impactful later because you have created an environment where your players are comfortable and they're getting to know each other. And then you put them into real danger. Now they're more invested. They care. They don't want to hurt each other or see each other get hurt or whatever the case might be. So you take this information and you hold on to what you want to do, and then you just add things or you modify things. So now that it is more impactful later. And I think he really enjoyed that. But it is a prevalent thought because you're thinking that, as a DM, my job is to make sure that they're having fun. And to have fun, they have to follow this plan that I'm doing, because otherwise I will unravel apart, and then oh god, everything is going to go to shit. No, it's not.
There's times when you can see the rails that the GM wants you on, and but you're going a little too fast on the tracks, and so they keep trying to put switches
Breaks.
Or I don't know, something on the tracks to slow you down a little bit because you're gonna hit your destination a little too quickly. And it's a
the way I see it, I feel that if that happens and you think your players are reaching their destination way too quickly,
set a new destination.
You know what? Set a new destination and maybe have a little consequences for coming out there so quickly. Maybe they're not as high level as they should be at that point. Or
maybe they're rushing into a situation where they're going to get where things are going to happen that are not good for them.
Sequences.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, honestly, I find that when players go quote unquote off the rails, they tend to lead you to better story beats than you had planned.
Absolutely.
So in the game that you were in,
I know exactly what you're going to talk about.
You know exactly what's. I had a big bad that I had from episode 1 to the finale. I had been hyping this bad guy up. He was hunting the party. He was the avatar of the dark forest. His whole deal was if I hunt you, you're screwed. So when we finally got into the conflict, 2 of my players, Dot and KP, ended the bad guy in 1 turn. I forgot that Dot played a monk. And again, this was a hunter, so he shot a very poison arrow at them because I was going to be I'm going to start this conflict by showing how potently deadly this guy is. And Dot caught the arrow and threw it back, rolled a crit. I rolled a 1 on their constitution save. And at that point, I had a choice. You could either they have legendary resistance, screw that, or you could choose to reward the party for seeing something that you forgot as a GM. So I let the bad guy get poisoned. It was a stun effect. They were going to be stunned for an entire round. I'm like, what damage could they do for one round. And KB goes, I'm gonna create a dimension door 500 feet up and push the bad guy in it. Now that's not the way the spell works. But
Yeah,
when
no,
players
not at all.
when players are being creative, why would I dilute their fun by going, no, it doesn't work that way? Like they
I think that was one way of providing entertainment. I don't think the other direction, if you had said no, would have been a terrible thing either, because then all that would do is, oh, okay, shit, now we're in the real shits here. We can't take the easy way out. We have an actual battle. Let's see what actually happens. And either way, I think would have been super fun. I just really
couldn't take that. I couldn't take that away from you for a few reasons. One, it really was thinking outside the box. Two, before the game started, you were like, I don't have the books memorized. And look, it's not yours. It's like, I truly don't believe it's the player's responsibility to memorize the books, right? Like this is communal storytelling, so there's wiggle room. And also, you guys changed it from the conflict being, how do we beat this bad guy, to what do we do after they're taken care of, which ended up being a little bit more interesting to me. So it's just like, sometimes go with the flow. Let your players win. Don't be afraid to let them, that's why everybody sits at the table. Nobody sits at the table to not be a hero. So give it to them.
Yeah, I think as you said, because the conflict didn't end because we killed the bad guy. Then what you did, and I really enjoyed you doing this, is you shifted the conflict to the, okay, well, what's the aftermath of this? And are there still difficulties? Even if because your story doesn't end as soon as you kill the big bad. It's the aftermath, if anything, can be even worse. Right. And so exploring that was a lot of fun, and we still got this really epic moment of, oh, fuck. We have road splatter. Got it.
Bro, I just watched my villain that I've crafted for an entire season just come raining down. And by the way, they're a centaur. They're not acrobatic out of this.
No.
So it was just horse lady just go boom.
Let's just let this be a lesson to you. Give your centaur horseshoes of flying.
How many D6s of damage was that again?
And that was
it maxes after a while.
So
I don't think there was a max that we put. We just how many?
You said her 500. You said her 500 feet in the air. I do believe fall damage caps at 12d6. I could be mistaken, but also that poison took a chunk of their HP.
Oh, okay.
It was like, oh, there's no way. There's like, if she had time to get the healing stuff that she had, she would have been fine. But the problem was the poison did a lot of damage, and it also stunned. So she couldn't use a reaction. She just had to fall.
20d6 is the maximum.
20d6, yeah.
20, yeah, because I remember we went to the max, and we had to go to the max at 500 feet. Which is the limit of a dimension door, is the distance that it can go to is 500 feet.
See, but the thing is, you know that spell now. And if you want your players to learn spells, sometimes let them do things that the spell doesn't allow. And they'll always remember that moment. Imagine falling 500 feet to the ground while stunned, just watching the ground become close. Yeah. It was a nightmare experience for them, but I love that.
And you imagine a therapy session or a panel session, kind of like Alcohol Anonymous, where similar to what they did in Wreck-It Ralph, where all the bad guys are coming together and then talking about how their players or the hero killed them or how they got defeated. Yeah. The villain support group, and then you have this one fucker in there going, they dropped me 500 feet.
It was the first round. You know what made it worse? It was the surprise round because y'all didn't see her coming.
Yeah.
So y'all killed her in a surprise round.
We weren't even
I think the real surprise
initiative.
was the ass whooping we delivered.
Yeah.
But yeah,
The real surprise was the ass kicking we did along the way.
Didn't I cast grease at them too as well to like try and trip up the horsey hooves?
Oh, your grease is what made it possible for them to push.
Yeah,
That's right.
It was a whole team
That's
effort.
right. It was great.
My butterbird.
Because
Yeah.
because I think the original plan was somebody was going to like tackle them through the dimension door, but because there was grease, it was just a push.
Yeah. Yeet.
No, not again. I love petunias.
So not only in the Dark Worlds do we have Petty Primetime, but we have
I'm getting a knock on the door. I will be right back.
go for it.
We'll just vamp for a little bit. We haven't actually
Okay, now that he's gone, oh my god, no, I'm just kidding.
we haven't actually spoken about the whole take about how players reading the monster manual. That was a whole thing.
Wait, what was the whole thing?
There was like a GM that was like, "Don't let your players read the monster manual, because then they'll be prepared for what you're going to throw at them." Do you remember? Do you as a GM remember every single monster in the fucking monster manual? Do you know what a Periton is? Like,
I do.
Yeah, I know you do.
It's such a silly rule to put down because listen, even in world, if you're trying to justify things in world, as an adventurer, I'm going to try and prepare myself for what's fucking out there, right? I'm pretty sure there's manuals on how to, what some of the more common creatures, some of the major creatures that are out there. There's going to be legends about creatures that are so out there that you're like, there's no way. That's probably not even true. But you're probably going to know about these creatures as an adventurer, and you're going to have manuals and guides on how to kill them. It's going to be in-game, in-world. So it's a silly thing.
I think I agree with Sphinx. I think that was discourse bait.
Well, I mean,
exactly.
here's my thoughts on it, and it's pretty simple, which is every book that a game designer comes out with is a starting point or a template. I feel like they're designed for you to tweak them to fit whatever narrative you're telling. I believe that's true with monsters, items, spells, and campaign settings. Like, when you go to see a movie, what really kind of draws you in is when the hero or when a character does something they're not supposed to be able to do. Like, that's the whole point. The reason that we love Star Wars is, if you look at it, Luke shouldn't be able to beat Vader. It doesn't make sense, but he does, and that's what's so. That's that feel good moment when you watch the movie. So this idea of don't let your players read the book because they'll memorize it. Fine, feel free to memorize it. And you know what? If you wanna attribute that to your character, like my character would know this because of this, and so forth. I have no problem letting that happen. There's still story to be told there. I think
that can also. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I think some people want things handed to them on a platter, right? And the difference between a good player and a great player isn't like a good player or a great player, or a good GM and a great GM is, this is a good player and a good GM knows what's in the book. A great player and a great GM knows how to shift things that are in the book to tell a good story, because the whole point of this is the story. Nobody cares about this spell can only technically do this and that and this and that and this and that. Like, that's impressive. You memorized it. Great. But can you utilize it in such a way that it's compelling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, this also, I feel like, applies to even the GM book and the campaign books. So what if you read the story already? So what if you've gone and reached the end and,
So what if
I
you
know
read
who the
about the
bad guy
Feywild?
is.
You don't know about your GM's version of the Feywild.
Exactly. And then what really is compelling about these games is not the end goal, but how you kind of reached there. What journey did you take? What memories did you build? What stories did you tell along the way? These books have been, some of these stories have been out there for decades, right? They've been out there for a long ass time. I probably, if you've been in this, you probably GM'd and played them as players, several times. But are you going to say that, oh, because I played it once, I now can't play it again because the ending is ruined for me, so I already know how it's happening? No, you're going to keep playing it. You're going to keep playing it because the people at the table are going to dictate how that game is run, and they're going to dictate how the story is created and the journey that you take to get there. And each one of those is going to be a unique new experience. So you're not losing out just simply because you have knowledge about these things. And, like you said, sometimes it's fun to then turn things on the head. Oh, you already know how this is going down. Well, here's a little twist. Here's my twist on this. And now you're like, oh, shit, I thought this was going to go this way. I didn't even think you could take it this direction. That's so cool, right? You can still have a lot of creative fun in that.
Yeah, the other thing, I agree with that completely, is just I truly believe it's impossible to make a mistake at the table. In terms of storytelling, in terms of
as long as you're being safe in terms of as long as you're maintaining table safety and using your safety tools. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the reason that it's impossible is let's say really like our Into the Southlands continue. I would make a plot point of that. I would make a plot point of saying Dimension Door doesn't work that way. Why were you able to do that? And now we get to take a look at you and your magic. And remember, you created a character in a foundation of your culture, so we could then go deeper into it. Why are you able to manipulate the weave in a way nobody else ever has?
And on top of that, the other question might be, wait, did you actually do that? Or was there something bigger than this involved? And maybe that wasn't the big bad, but they needed that big bad gone for another plan to work. Or maybe they needed you to think the big bad is gone, so you stop being an adventurer because you think that you've succeeded, or things like that, right? You could do so much.
Every narrative beat, every decision that your character makes, every mistake at the table, could be a narrative beat. And that's the kind of GMing that I love. Like, okay, I let you do this really awesome thing that you're not supposed to be able to do. Now we find out why.
Exactly. And the thought of like, oh shit, there's something even more powerful out there that can actually do things outside of the rules of what we've been told you could do. Oh shit. Oh crap. We're
dealing with a whole meta villain.
And it worked through you without you knowing.
So why am I affected by this? Why I get selected for this? Oh shit!
That's a whole season right there.
Exactly.
That's the kind of stuff I love. So when I see stuff like don't let your players don't listen to that.
I'm just gonna say, I'm just gonna put this out there. Kobold Press, if you need some people to run Black Flag with this in this setting, do another season of Southlands.
Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be so fun.
The Red Queen.
Oh man, wouldn't it be wild if somebody were doing that? Anyway, but yeah, I love when players and GMs let their creativity be the focus rather than the rules. That is where the magic is for me. But we are on our dark roast, and there are a couple more segments that we do. This segment I haven't been as consistent, but we call this TTRPG confessionals. So if you feel like you have a bad habit that you kind of want to call yourself out on,
man,
we let you air that out, and then we give you penance. Like 5 hell abrias or
Oh
or
man,
something
okay.
to that effect.
You know what? I know what my flaw is, and my flaw is I create these characters and I don't work on their backstory as much as I feel like I should, and therefore I don't have as much to draw from or allow my GMs to draw from. For example, I will fully admit I am absolutely unprepared for my character and my story in the Lord of the Rings campaign that I'm on. My character is not as robust as the rest of them were or are, because the one request I got from Mike was fill out your 10-minute backstory. Just, it's a sheet of paper. It'll take you up the most 10 minutes. Fill it out. And, and I'm like, neat. No thanks, I guess.
The clean slate.
Multi-episodes into this campaign, and I'm just like, I feel like I've set myself up for several failures here. And the other thing is, like, I'm not a Lord of the Rings encyclopedia. I don't have in-depth knowledge of this world. What I have, it comes from me reading the original 3 books and The Hobbit back in like 7th grade, and then from watching and rewatching the films. That's it. That is my deep understanding of this lore of the world. I enjoy it, but I have not delved too deep into it. So what I brought to that table is very surface level, and best I could with what I have provided, and that is on nobody else but me and my lazy ass. And it is something I need to work on. I will happily blame it on all the other several things happening in my life, but that is a really shitty excuse because I feel like everybody has shit going on in their lives. But I'm moving to Dallas. I have something else that's big I haven't talked about yet that I will hopefully be able to talk about in a couple months. That is also going on in the backdrop.
Sounds like we'll have to have you back. Oh no.
That's shifting a lot of my focus away. So it's just a lot of big things juggling in the air that I'm going to blame all of that on, which honestly, it's still not an excuse because it's literally supposed to take 10 minutes to do, and I have not provided that 10 minutes. So there we are.
Okay. I think I've got your penance. Your penance is 2 Hellebreas, which you don't actually have to say. I still need to write it. And you have to make one decision about your character's backstory right now. Like, it could be anything, like their favorite food is blank. Just any one decision.
You have to say it live here on air, and now it's canon.
Because I've been banking on the fact that he's still a young ranger, right? He's this guy that he's
not chat, knows witnessing.
He doesn't have a lot of life experience just yet. So I was banking on the fact that, you know what, because he doesn't have life experience, there's not a lot going on around him. He's just joining in for the ride, which is absolute bullshit. That's a lazy ass approach. So, oh man,
it could be favorite. It could be something as small as their favorite food, favorite sport, something that they're afraid of. Anything you want.
They are afraid of. I think they're afraid of being not good enough. Ooh. And I feel like I'm projecting a little bit of KP into him because he is surrounded by so many. His mentor, Elvorneth, is this amazing elvish, badass, right? Played by Eris Savad, who plays her amazingly, and so he's been under her wing this entire time. And so like when you have someone who's so great and so cool and all surrounded by others who are so amazing, there's this little bit of self-doubt, I'm not good enough
imposter
kind of
syndrome.
Feeling, imposter syndrome that happens. So I think he feels that as much as he doesn't try to show it. I think he feels that, and he constantly is trying to do his best to live up to expectations that are a lot of it I feel is self-imposed. He is the last, and probably not the last, but he's a Dunedain, so they're spread out, they're broken, they're not really the people they're on the waning end of things, right? And so he's trying to hopefully do his part to help conserve that legacy and hold on to it. but he doesn't feel equipped enough. So he has all of this self-doubt, despite being raised by and by someone as badass as Ella Vorneth is, right? So he is capable. He just doesn't feel it. And I
I
think
like it.
I like it.
yeah, and I think that's the reason why. And I think what is happening for me as a way for me to step away from the show for now with all the things that is happening in my life is he's probably going to, man, would this be spoilers? You know what? I'll keep that. You guys watch the show.
Yeah,
You decide
watch the show. Watch the show.
Yeah. And it's a great show with a great cast.
It's over on Unmade Gaming, right?
I love them. Unmade Gaming, and I love them deeply. And I think every single one of them are fantastic performers and storytellers. And you guys, I cannot tell you how much I enjoy even if I get to be an audience at the table. Like there will be times where I'm just like content sitting back and then not saying a word the entire session as I watch them do their thing, because it's just so inspiring and amazing, and some of the best performers out there and some of the best storytellers out there.
Hell
Do check them out.
Best
And the best beings. I love them deeply. So that I think that's what his thing is. He's very
dealing with
insecure
imposter syndrome. Yeah, that's
insecure
so
about who he is.
real.
Yeah.
Anita, do you have any confessions?
Ooh.
Ooh, my battery's running low. All right, 1 second. I'm gonna grab a charger while you talk.
No worries.
I can hear you.
My confessional for this is sometimes I can be a petty player, like a petty, like resentful player. Like if I know that the GM is purposefully trying to like steer me in a direction, I'll just go to point C instead of point A or B.
The wayward player.
That's me.
Okay. Your penance will be your penance will be 2 Halabrias and I hope this never gets back to Abria. Yeah, 2 Halabrias.
I'm very curious.
Oh, it started with the very first TTRPG confessional. We were joking about like we got to start coming up with prayers. The daily we've got Halabria, the Daily Brennan, and I'll have to make some more.
Give us our Daily Brennan.
Oh my god.
And forgive us our bird facts. 2 Halabrias, and the next time a GM gives you a plot point that you feel the need to kind of go wayward, embrace it and make it your own.
Okay. I would, but they don't let me get to that point. Anyways, I'm a little petty still.
My confession is that I hold grudges. I'll never forgive you. No, I'll never forgive. No, I'm kidding.
Rip Daisy.
No, my confessional is, I have been a little scared lately to to shoot my shot at things that I want in the space. Like there'll be like shows out where I'm like, oh man, I would love to like either guest or like hop in on that, and like I just don't pull the trigger and ask. Okay. I've been sheepish lately, so
I think we already know what your penance is going to be.
I absolutely do.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, I give the penances, and
my penance, I have to give you. Yeah, I get to give you your penance. As someone who has heard this confessional, you need to do 3 praise mats, and you need to. It's a mat of your choice, of course. And you need to slide in someone's DMs right now. right this second.
Yes.
Yep. Absolutely.
Or if you want to be on the safer side, you need to send out an actual official email with your TTRPG resume, with your resume of all you've done, and tell them that you want to be, you'd be honored to be involved in this production, and here's why you would be an asset to be there.
Okay. By the way, my praise mats are going to be to Matthew McConaughey. I just want y'all to know.
I was going to say Matt Colville, Matt Mercer, whichever Matt you want. It has to be a GM Matt,
but you need to sound like Matthew McConaughey when you do it, though.
All right.
That's
how that starts.
That's how the prayer starts. Hail Matthew McConaughey.
Sometimes they start with, you know, I was going to say it's going to be like, you know, GM Matthew full of grace.
The McConaughey is with you.
May McConaughey be with you. And the response is just, all right.
Yeah.
If you think that I'm not gonna make a country in my world where they worship the McConaughey, get out of your mind.
You go into confessionals, Father, I have sinned. All right, my child.
Let's see your sins.
Please, Father, forgive me, for I am dazed and confused. All right, we've got another portion of the dark roast. This one is a little lighter before we go to the real darkness, which is, this is the community spotlight. If there's anyone in the space that has been particularly welcoming, or you feel like they could use a little bit of shine, this is where you shout them out, let them know, you know, why you're giving them the spotlight.
Oh, God, that's even tougher.
This was folks. This was the softball.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you why this is the most difficult question so far for me, because two aspects. One, I genuinely believe that every person that I've been in contact with has been absolutely talented and amazing, and each one has deserved more spotlight. So I can't pick one. Second, I am shit with names and remembering them when it matters. I will literally sit there. You heard me earlier where I'm like, what was that actor's name again? Shit, what was that person's name again? I am absolute shit when it comes to remembering people's names. It's not because I don't want to. It's my brain and it works that way. I tell people I either remember faces or I remember names. It's one or the other. That's it for me. Unless you interact with me consistently, I will not remember. And even then, there will be moments where I'm just like, what was that dude's name? He goes by something like that sounds like a version of Black. He's a Black performer. Noir.
Listen, as somebody whose brain is also made out of soupy macaroni and cheese, I absolutely understand. If you describe like their Twitter name or icon, I might know it, and then I'll be able to name it for you. If you would like for one of us to go first, we can do that as well.
Okay. Dude, there's just so many amazing people. I think some of them, I genuinely, and I don't just say it for the sake of saying it, but any one of my crew on Unmade Gaming, I think deserves more spotlight, because I think they're absolutely fantastic. Each and every single one of them does so much amazing work, are so talented, and I genuinely think that they deserve much more and keep deserving much more. I think the other person who I feel like is already kind of coming on the up and up, and I want to see them more of, is Dan Munoz, who goes by Nat1Fun on all the stuff. Another of my DMs and fellow creative, and he's the one, as you praised his work already, Noir, he's the one that made my demo.
Wow!
That was him. Him and I worked together. We sat down last October, and we knocked it out in like a month. And he was the one who wrote the script for it. He was the one who selected the different characters that I should portray, and then we both sat down, and all I did was do the recording, and he then mastered it. He, did all the music for it and the sound effects for it, and he, his wife is the little gigglish girl in there that I'm flirting with. So that was all Dan, and I think he is an absolute talent, as not just as a sound designer and a producer. He's also a fantastic DM and storyteller. And on top of that, he's a great voice actor on his own right, and I think you're going to see a lot more of him. So please go and support him. And and then also I think there's several amazing Desi voices out there that I would love to see more of, just because I would love to see stories about my culture be told. So like literally, she goes by Pooja online. An absolute fantastic player. You have from Daisies and Dragons. See, here it is. Here's where it happens.
The bronze girl?
Not the bronze girl. No, she's also fantastic. But from
Daisies I know who you're talking about.
Why am I blanking her name right now? I'm so sorry. Oh my god.
No, I know exactly who you're talking about. She was also hanging out with us at the bar. I remember.
Yes, she was at Big Bad Con. Please, someone help me. I feel like shit.
No, I got you. I got you. Hold on. You're talking about. I know this. Hold on. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there together.
I feel like such a piece of shit right now.
No, you're fine.
Indrani, thank you. We've been friends for like, this is me. This is what I'm talking about. Like there will be moments, and it's not because I don't want to forget. I mean, I don't want to remember them. My brain just like, let's keep and hold on to that.
It's because it's that ADHD out of sight, out of mind thing, and that applies to people. Yeah. Object impermanence applies to people too, and it sucks. Like if you're not actively thinking or actively interacting with a person, they don't exist for. They don't exist.
It sucks, and I feel so terrible. But
I mean, I kind of feel like though we need to be a little bit kinder to ourselves in this regards, because I feel like we know more people than most other people in any other time period. Like we're connected with so many people. Like it's wild.
Hi Raiders, welcome in. We just had a raid from Sensei Suplex. Welcome in. Good to see y'all.
Hey!
And you were promised free tacos if you came in here. Well, crap. I guess we gotta order tacos now.
Okay. Tacos for everybody. No, but Adrani also makes amazing dice, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So she goes by
gorgeous.
Nonagon Dice.
Mm-hmm.
I think is her handle on Twitter, but she's a writer, she's a dice creator, she's just a great community manager. She works in the game industry as her day job. I forget exactly what she does, but she travels, to New York because they have an office out there fairly frequently. But on top of that, she was for a brief time one of the marketing director or marketing manager for Shanti Bhavan, which is a fantastic charity that gets really well involved with a lot of the TTRPG space. It's run by Ajit George. I think she was somewhere involved with Radiant Citadel, maybe not, but I know she's one of the ones, right? So she's fantastic, and I think she'll, her and the entire Daisies and Dragons team out there are a huge creative force. So I really would love to see more from them in the future and keep seeing them grow as well. There's just so many people like you guys. I want to see you guys grow
too.
Thank
you for those links in chat.
And you and I, Noir, you were talking about some of the things you're planning and some things in the works for you. And I really genuinely want to see that succeed, because I think not only would that make your platform better and your voice better so you can talk about cool things, but also I think it's going to be a huge opportunity for a lot more people. So I definitely want it to succeed because it's going to be so cool to have that out there. So things like that,
Absolutely. Yeah. There's been a trend that's been happening in this space with people crowdfunding APs.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited about I'm very excited with how it's taking off. So
Yeah.
we will see.
We're gonna have some discussions, I think.
Exactly. And I'm excited for that. And I really, really want to see so many people. I want to see a lot more, continue to see, and I guess we've been seeing it, but I want to see a more rapid progression of it, of representation, right? Of more BIPOC folks, more LGBTQIA folks, and their stories. And this is kind of going back to that, the three wishes earlier. So anybody who's involved in that space, I just am so enamored by, because I think they bring such cool perspective and so many cool news stories that we haven't had the opportunity to get so far. And to be able to watch people in those spaces grow is a huge honor. And I think my responsibility as someone who kind of has more of a platform now is to use it to give them that limelight and give them that space, and do my best to, help those voices come up, because then I have a robust playground to play in. There's a little selfishness in there, because I'm like, I have new toys and new things to do because so many cool things are happening. It's not that goddamn single slide that I've been sliding on for the last 10 years.
Hell yeah. So I've got just two questions left. There's the old standard, and there's a new one that I was particularly inspired with our conversations today to get to. So we'll start with the gold standard, which is, if you've been in the TTR space long enough, you've probably had the displeasure of sitting at a table with a that guy. If you are unfamiliar with what a that guy is, that is someone that is a veritable black hole of fun at the table. Someone, if they were yeeted into the sun, your experience would increase tenfold. So KP, have you had the displeasure of sitting at a table with a that guy?
See, I think this is where my selective memory comes in handy, because I can't think of someone like that currently. I have had the genuine pleasure of being surrounded from the very beginning by people in the space who are genuinely kind and genuinely supportive. Like, going back to Waverly, like just how that game started. Yeah. That was my first ever live AP, yet that game was how I learned about safety tools. That game was where I learned about session zeros and checking in on each other and enabling each other's stories, about representation, of making sure diverse voices were on the table. So it became my gold standard on how to be and what to see and what to look for, that I've never really been a part of a production where I felt like there was that guy there, because subconsciously or consciously, we've never allowed that person to be on the table. And I've also just, I guess, lucky to have continuously had people who are just those people, right? And it's just been fantastic. And I feel
awesome.
Extremely privileged. Maybe there was, but it was so minuscule of a moment, or a minuscule of or like the person was just a one-time thing that I never interacted with again anyways, that I just don't remember them. The good has so far outweighed the bad, if it ever happened, that I just don't know.
Do you want to know something incredible? This is almost the exact same response that you gave 3 years ago when we had you on the show for the first time.
Because it's exactly. I've been lucky.
Yes,
and appreciate how lucky I've been. Because of that, it has been. It is. I think my any poor experience has happened is, I feel I blame on myself, because I feel I'm not good enough. I feel that I have the lacking of skills to be able to perform with these people, and I'm the weakest link, right? So I kind of don't feel like anybody else is the problem if I feel like I'm the problem.
Well, I can tell you for sure, having played with you and GM for you, you are absolutely not a bad guy.
Can confirm, as someone who's played at the table with you.
But you bring up a good point, and I'm gonna have to add this to a project that me and Anita are working on. Safety tools start with casting, or Safety tools start the moment you agree to sit at a table. The ultimate safety tool is understanding that your fun isn't the only fun that should be happening at the table.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And when you make that priority, every table is going to be a good table. And I've been lucky that every table that I've been invited to has made that a priority, is to start and have that conversation about safety tools. So because of that, I've never had a person who was that guy, because we discussed it and talked about it and are aware not to be that guy.
Hell yeah.
It works. Safety tools work. Please use them for your own safety, your table safety, and just to have fun. And I promise you'll be in the same situation I'm in right now, in the same predicament I am in right now, where I cannot answer this question adequately.
Yes, no, I asked this question in the hopes that people, one, understand that if you do have a bad experience at the table, that is something that is a shared experience. Yeah. But also, like, if you don't have that experience, that's the dream, that's the goal. So hell yeah to that answer. Yeah. That's wait, no, I had one my last one.
I think Anita had something she wanted to.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. That's it. It was incredible that I was just so surprised, because that was almost the exact same answer that you gave last time. And that in 3 years in this space, almost 3 years in this space, you're still consistent. It's wonderful to see. It's so heartening to see that, like,
and the kudos goes to everybody else.
So good,
right?
That's so good.
And you guys share in that. You, Anita and TheNoir, you have been part of that experience too, because you create a safe space for your players. Your goal is first and foremost safety, and I think everybody else that I've been a part of, that's always been the case. And so this is a collective success to me, because it shows that the community is going in that direction. So my hope and goal is, because of that fewer people are experiencing that guy anymore, and through that everybody is going to have this response where this question becomes moot, that, oh, no one really has that guy, or no one intentionally has that guy anymore.
Hell yeah.
And also, this is 2 weeks in a row that we've had no TTRPG that guys.
Nice.
I'm glad. A TTRPG that had a Magic the Gathering that guy, but not a TTRPG that guy.
That's true. Oh,
yeah.
All right.
I think I could say, like, that guy was before ever being in AP, and I'm pretty sure I was that guy at the table.
That's exactly what you said last time. I was waiting for it to drop.
Safety tools made me a better person, I promise you, because I remember my first ever game of playing Dungeons and Dragons for the first time. I was a rogue, so I was like, oh, I gotta be a rogue. I'm gonna be stealing shit. And what I ended up doing was we were playing a game of Lost Mines of Fandalver, and I was, because I was the rogue, I was the first one to reach the loot, right? And then I ended up having the loot on me. So I was like, oh, because I'm a rogue and a thief, I'm going to hoard some of this money. I'm not going to give it to them. I'm going to lie and then deceive that I didn't get that much. And I think the DMs were trying to make me understand that, hey, no, you guys are a team. You're a group of people. It's you against the world. Don't do this where you're being the dick for the rest of your players. But it didn't get into my head. I was just like, I was doing this is what my character would do. Bullshit, right? And I admit it, because I didn't know. I was not aware. I thought I was playing it correctly, and that's how it should be played. But I was playing it at the cost of other people's experience. I was having fun at the cost of the rest of my table, which is never the case and shouldn't be the case. I think we had a paladin, so the paladin was like, "Oh, I'm gonna check the thief," right? Because he was like, "Well, if you're gonna be a thief, and we know you're a thief, I'm a paladin, so I'm obviously going to, every time you're in this situation, I'm going to judge you, and I'm going to ask you to turn over your pockets every time." And it was like such a aggressive thing, right? And I felt like, oh, how could, why are you encroaching on my fun like this? Why are you doing this to me? Like, I successfully deceived you guys, and yet how could you just arbitrarily assume that I'm going to be doing? And it was a bad mental space to be in, a bad mental mindset to have. And I'm so glad that very quickly I was taught not to be that guy.
That's
And
awesome.
The process works. It worked on me. Trust the process.
Trust the process.
Trust your safety tools and make safety paramount. And I promise you, you'll never face that guy again.
All right. The last
Here
question.
is my last question.
Before we get out of here.
And this is a question that I'm going to start asking everybody because I think it's very important with people, with the people that we have on, to kind of show like rejection isn't the end of the world. So my question to you is, what rejection have you seen? What rejection have you endured in this space that was hard for you at first, but you can look back at it now and kind of go, "Oh, I'm glad that actually happened." Or is there anything that kind of fits that you could think of where you're like, this actually ended up being better for me?
That's a great question. I really think, and I think this I can connect it back to some previous conversation we had about. I really genuinely don't think that rejections exist. I think you were not selected, and it just means that it wasn't the right time and the right place for you specifically, and that you, as long as you keep trying it, you will be then selected for the right thing when the right thing comes along. Just make sure that you're constantly growing, constantly learning, and doing what you need to do. And then when it's time, your thing will come. And, you know, because I mean, like, let me tell you, like, I have had to say no to things, or I didn't, that I thought would be the end of my career. I'm like, oh, God damn it. I just shot myself in the foot because of this. For example, I'll be very honest. When back in I'm pretty sure it was 2020 or maybe, 2020. I want to say 2020. I was supposed to be in a game with Gabe as my DM, and then in another game where, you know, Critical Bard Omega was going to be was my DM, and then the entire, you know, Wizards kerfuffle happened around then about, you know, Mike Merles and all of that kind of stuff happened, and I made the difficult decision of saying, hey, I'm just not comfortable playing D&D currently with the conversation that's been happening. Even though my mind was like, oh, I'm going to be missing out on playing with these fantastic folks. And I'm just going to be like, oh, am I missing out on a really cool show and a really cool opportunity? But I made the gut decision of, this is not the right time for me to be playing D&D. I just don't think that should be the case for me right now. I'm not comfortable. Even if I were to play, I just wouldn't be able to put my 100% into this. And ultimately it would affect the table. And that decision, even though I thought it was going to be terrible, ended up opening myself up to other non-D&D TTRPG games. That's how I got accepted and how I said yes to Void, to being on Unmade Gaming. I genuinely don't think if I had stayed on those two shows, I wouldn't have had the time or maybe even the mindset of doing a non-D&D related show. And I don't know if I would have gone on and, you know, went on and done that show. And that changed my life. That show and that crew changed my life. I enjoyed immensely that story. I was so satisfied being a part of that and telling a story in that world that it opened me up to try other things like that and keep doing other things and diversifying myself. And ultimately, I felt that made me a much stronger player and a stronger storyteller because I had the opportunity to explore other things because I said no to something else. So I don't think any opportunity is really a missed opportunity or anything is a failure on your part, because ultimately this road is long. There's going to be so many opportunities that will come your way. All you have to do is just keep working at it, keep doing things that you like to do and grow yourself. So that way, when the opportunity does come, what do they say? Success is when luck meets preparation, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
So prepare yourself, keep working on yourself, and then keep applying until the right thing comes your way. And you're fine. You'll be fine. I promise you'll be fine. Your journey is unique. You're not going to have the same path that everybody else has. So don't compare yourself to other people and get discouraged because you think you're not making it or you're not going at the pace you should be going. Your path and your speed is the right path and right speed for you as long as you're comfortable.
Hell yeah.
Or as Volinar just said, when one door closes, a Kool-Aid man bursts through the opposite wall.
Or when one door closes, you break down the door yourself.
If that's what it takes, sometimes that's what it takes.
Sometimes that's what it
Sure.
takes.
As long as you have the energy and the capacity to do so, please do so. I'm just thinking that, and what people don't seem to understand is I feel ultimately every divergent path ends up coming back and meeting again at some point, and then maybe diverges again, but you're going to have those meetup points eventually, whichever creative path you take.
Yeah.
I feel like I am a big example of this. I started off as a photographer, and here I am now being an actual play person and a performer and a voice actor and occasional writer and all these other things, because if I ever felt blocked at one point on something, I'm like, okay, I'm a pivot. Let me pivot into something else. Maybe I'll enjoy this. If it doesn't work, maybe I'll enjoy this. But ultimately, by experiencing all the different things I've experienced, I feel that whatever I ended up really going into, I've succeeded more at it because I didn't let myself just stay stagnant. And I brought all of these other experiences that I've experienced to whatever new thing that I'm doing, right? And I promise you, even if you're, say, doing one thing, if you pursue it with the passion and the happiness and appreciate the joy that you get out of it, someone is going to notice, and then that might pivot into something else that you like to do. I was doing cultural consultation, and I ended up being auditioning for the voice actor for that role. How does it happens? It just happens. I promise you. Just go out there. Don't discourage yourself. Try things, keep doing things. I promise you it will happen. It will happen. The right thing will happen to you. Sometimes it's not the thing that you thought you were going to be doing, but it will happen.
Hell yeah.
So please don't get discouraged.
I think that's the perfect, we're not going to end on a higher note than that. So hell yeah. Honestly, just keep going. Sometimes hearing no hurts, but don't stop. Keep going.
What I like to think is it's not no, it's no for now.
Right. You gonna get there. Or
it's not,
you're gonna get there,
right
or it's
now.
not where you're supposed to be right now.
Hell
so
yeah.
Exactly.
If you're starting this journey, if you're on this journey, or if you're doing something completely unrelated to tabletop, take that to heart. Because stopping is the only person that can stop you, honestly, is you. So keep going.
I'm just going to say, ultimately, fuck the starving artist model. Just don't do it in a way that's going to hurt you. Okay?
Absolutely. Do it sustainably.
Take care of yourself first. Do what you need to do first to make what you need to make so that you can pay for bills, pay for food, pay for a roof over your head, and then pursue everything else. But don't have it at the cost of that, because that's just going to make you miserable.
Yeah. It really pay your bills.
Yeah. If it means getting a day job first, get a day job first, and then work on your passions after.
Listen, all your favorites on all the socials.
We're all hustling.
We're I guarantee you most of us have day jobs. So just keep the lights on and chase your dreams.
Yeah.
All right,
exactly.
Everybody. We're gonna get on out of here and start the rest of our days. Thank you all so much for joining us. I have been one of your hosts, Anita. You can find me everywhere at Panita or at Critical Misses. I'm a TTRPG streamer, graphic designer, producer, and cat-eared person about the space now. You can find me everywhere at Panita or at Critical Misses. And our guest next week is going to be Werewolf Feels. We're going to go talk to you next week.
Oh, I love Werewolf.
I love Werewolf.
So
and down here, we have our other host.
That's me. Hi, everybody. I'm Noir. You can find me all over the internet as TheNoirEnigma. That's Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. You can find me every Thursday and Friday at Gen Con TV. I play Shadowrun on Thursdays. I'm the host of Table Takes on Friday. On Saturdays, you can find me right here at Morning Ritual. Monday, you can find me over on Cryptic Studios Twitch channel for our Star Trek Perseverance game. And please make sure you check out my podcast with my wonderful sibling Joy, Dungeons and Dragons, where we tell you about everything going on in the nerd space. with a healthy dose of accountability. I'm so glad Joy's not in the chat because she would have dragged me for fucking that up so bad. KP, tell everybody where they can find me.
You forget that this is all recorded.
Fuck!
More Shaddy will clip that.
And clippable.
No!
So with that, I'm going to say hello, everybody, as I destroyed Noir. My name is KP. You can find me as KP11 Studios on all the social medias. I'm a photographer, voice actor, actual play player, and content creator in general. Currently, the big things that is happening, I'm kind of a little stepping away currently as I have a lot of things. As I said before, I'm moving to Dallas, Texas. I have another big personal thing happening that I'm excited about that is going to take a lot of my attention away. But in the meantime, I do have a pre-recorded show that is happening and airing every Friday called it's a Werewolf the Apocalypse game about being werewolves. It's pretty self-evident on what that is about. It's airing on ATL by Night's channel. It is in their universe, and it is a lot of fun. It's called ATL by Midnight. We air it every Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific time or 8 p.m. Eastern time. We just had episode 2 aired last night. I really enjoyed that game because I got to play a character that I never really played that type before. He's very broody, very angry, very upset about things. I'm not that type of person. There it is. I knew there was going to be a clip.
God damn it!
But I genuinely enjoyed that game. It's a great story about just the underdog, so to speak, of a and their experience and that immigrant experience, that outsider experience, trying to find your place in a group and create a pack while seeing all of these struggles that each of them have faced. And I think it's a very deep story. I really enjoyed it. I loved the character progression that happened for all of us throughout that. So stick around for it, watch it. Each episode is on its own right really great, but watch the whole thing because I think you're going to have some really great moments.
Hell yeah.
So yeah.
You also, got a fantastic cast in that too.
Huh?
I was just saying, there's a fantastic cast for the werewolf game as well.
Yeah, amazing cast. But yes, I will also in a month. I will be from March 15th to March 21st. Well, technically March 28th. I'll be in Atlanta. But I'm also doing, I'm opening up my bookings for my photo shoots there. While I'm there, I have dates for the 16th and slots for the 21st. So if you're nearby, if you're in Atlanta, or if you're able to make it out there and you are looking for some fun shoots to do, I have a studio that I rented out, a proper photo studio with multiple sets. I think they have like 16 different types of sets.
Wow.
So we have a lot of cool places that we can run around and take photos in. So whatever dreams you had, whatever dream shoots you wanted to do, or characters you wanted to do, or just portraits, I do all sorts of things, anything and everything that's related to people, I do photography of. So if any of that rings that bell for you, scratches that itch for you, check out come reach out to me. I have a sign-up sheet I will be constantly reposting on Twitter, or you can email me at kp at kp11studios.com for bookings to reach out to me. So
I might have to book a flight to Atlanta. I got a new armor that could use some pictures.
Hell yes. All right, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you all so much for stopping by and joining us today. We're gonna actually show some love. We talked about them a little bit on the show, but we're gonna go send some love over to Unmade Gaming because they are live right now. Playing. It looks like it's Age of Always. So we're gonna send some love over that direction. Again, thank you everybody, and KP, we're gonna definitely bully you to come back.
I don't know if you want to come back if I'm going to be so consistently the same from 3 years ago. I feel like half my answers are going to be the same again.
I am absolutely here for this. I'm here for consistency when it comes to that guy. We want to make sure that they don't exist in the space and that you always are able to create a safe and loving and caring space. Thank you all so much for joining us, and thank you again for those raids, everybody, and that hype train earlier. But until next time, everybody, the ritual has concluded. See you later.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
All right.